Imagine a teacher trying to calculate a class average for 5 students. If they write each grade on a separate, loose slip of paper, their desk quickly becomes a disorganized mess. Now imagine trying to track grades for 50 students or 1,000. In programming, if you create a separate, uniquely named variable for every single test score, score 1, score 2, score 3, you are essentially writing out 1,000 different slips of paper. It creates a mountain of repetitive code that is nearly impossible to manage. To fix this, C programming gives us a tool called an array. An array lets you take a large group of similar data items, like a whole class worth of test scores, and store them together in one continuous block in the computer's memory, all under one single name. By placing related data into a single organized group, you can perform calculations on thousands of items at once. Organizing information this way is the first step to writing code that can handle real-world, large-scale problems. This animated diagram shows exactly how that organization works in the computer's memory. Instead of tossing individual data points into scattered cardboard boxes, an array physically groups them into a single connected metal locker bank, which we've named marks. To build this in C, we start by typing int, which is short for integer. This tells the computer that only whole numbers are allowed inside these lockers. Next, we put the number 4 inside square brackets. This tells the computer exactly how much space to reserve in its memory. It immediately sets aside 4 consecutive empty lockers for us to use. To fill those lockers, we use an equal sign, followed by curly braces. When we list 4 specific test scores separated by commas, the computer drops those numbers into the reserved spaces in the exact order we wrote them. But to get a specific score back out, you have to remember the most important rule in C programming: counting always starts at 0. The first door in our locker bank isn't door number 1, it is door number 0. If we want to print the very first test score to the screen, we call the name of our array and ask for index 0. The computer goes straight to door 0, opens it, and retrieves the number 67. Because every locker in the bank is exactly the same size and they are all lined up in a row, the computer doesn't have to search. It just skips forward by the exact number of spaces you tell it to, landing instantly on the right piece of data. With the data neatly organized, we can write a set of instructions, an algorithm, to calculate the total sum of these student marks. The process takes 4 simple steps. We create our array of scores. We create a separate container to hold our running total, starting at 0. We walk down the line to visit each locker. And finally, we add each score to our total. We start with the required starting instructions. We include the standard library that allows the program to read and write data, and we set up our main section, which is the space where all of our code will actually run. This animated diagram shows how we automate walking down the line with a for loop. We create a counter starting at index 0. We ask the loop to check marks of I, grabbing each number. We add that number to our current sum, storing the new total. Once the loop finishes checking the very last locker, the work is done. We then use one final print command to show our accumulated total on the screen. This simple loop is the exact reason why arrays are so incredibly powerful. Instead of writing separate instructions for every single score, you write one short set of instructions that the computer repeats for you. It can add 5 numbers or 5 million numbers with the exact same amount of code. There is one major risk to watch out for. C programming expects you to remember exactly how many lockers you created. The computer won't stop you if your loop asks to see a locker that isn't there. This animated diagram shows what happens if our loop asks for locker number 5. Because we only built 4 lockers, locker 5 doesn't exist. The computer walks off the edge of reserved memory and reads random leftover data, which can crash your entire program. Now it's time to test this yourself. Open your code editor, declare a new array to track your expenses over 7 days, and write a for loop that prints each day's expense to the screen. Remember the 3 rules. Arrays store data under one name. Counting always starts at 0, and loops navigate the list. Learning how to navigate an array means you can write one short set of instructions that works for any list your program needs to handle. Once you master this, you can move from managing single numbers to managing entire databases.